Hola, well met, and welcome back one more time here to the first European regional here in DreamHack Valencia. It was an absolute blast on this journey so far, and guess what? It's only gonna get better because now we have reached the grand finals. Team Dignitas versus Fnatic. Two very strong looking teams are here to duke it out and take home that big fat prize money of 25K, guys. That is absolutely insane. And of course, the winner, we have to highlight that once again, goes directly to BlizzCon later this season. So Jayhao, how pumped and how excited are you to be here?
I'm absolutely excited to be here. I mean, I can't express enough the fact that I get to see these two teams in the finals for my first European regional, showing up, being at the event. This is incredible. These guys are ready, man. I mean, this is literally the best. They have gone through this tournament, guys, and they have shown exactly why they deserve to be here by dominating their opposition. Grubby, I know you were a former pro competitive. When you get to this big of a stage for these guys that are used to it, some of these guys that aren't as used to it are getting here as often, how should Fnatic be feeling right now? How do these guys feel individually? How pumped are they?
They are a very momentum-based team. You can see the enthusiasm is dripping off of them. They are dancing, they're duking and jiving, and their spirits are high. And why not? They've made it look easy so far. We had the group stages, the semifinals, and they breezed through it, no pun intended. And it was just amazing. And now here, it seems like only these two teams exist here. It's all about these two. They've made it look easy so far, but what happens when two strong forces collide?
And of course, I know, Thatcher, you're here at the panel. Good to have you back. And you're not as enthusiastic and not as biased, I should probably say, for Dignitas. Do you share Kalaris' optimism here? Or do you think that it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride for them to overcome Fnatic?
First things first, I would like to say I'm incredibly enthusiastic and incredibly biased, but I take that back. but I'm incredibly biased towards both of these teams, and I would not be able to pick between them. And I really think this is easily going to be one of the... In fact, I will say it is going to be the best series we have seen. We've already seen them clash once earlier on. Now it's the question of whether this time Dignitas can overcome Fnatic or whether we're going to see a bit of a repeat performance. Either way, the games were close.
I mean, we all do remember that epic 37-minute game, I think it was in Tomb of the Spider Queen, where Quacknix just dealt an absurd amount of damage on that Lunara. Jayhao, do you think he's going to be able to pull it off one more time?
I think they're definitely going to be a lot more aware of it. Dignitas has got to be a little bit more aware. The good thing is they now have the familiarity. They now have an entire tournament's worth of drafts to look at each other and see what each person has done. Keep in mind, they weren't playing at the same time today. They were sitting out there and they're watching each other. You can watch. These guys are into it. This is what's crazy is that when we were in the back, I know we said something like this before, but we're in the back. Everybody's looking at each other. Who do you got? No person. Everybody's like, they held. They couldn't commit. Nobody could commit right away. I think this right here could, like you said, could be the best series that we're going to see. And the fact that it's best of 5 after what we saw last night, oh man, we're in for a treat.
Going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And of course, since we have reached the grand finals, we're now going to take a very final look at the bracket to see what the teams have to sort of jump over in order to get here. We see Fnatic taking down My Insanity, the reigning European champion. On the other half of the bracket, we saw Team Liquid. Now, they looked good in the group phase, but they just didn't stand a chance against that onslaught that was coming in from Team Dignitas. And now we can rightfully say that the very best teams in the European region are finally facing each other in the grand finals, Grubby.
Yeah, Europe Fall Regional 1 is one of the most important ones yet. Fnatic has been playing higher and higher in each subsequent regional qualifier so far. And by that logic, they should be doing pretty well. There's only one way up from now. They haven't won one in a long time. And I think they're very hungry for it.
Definitely. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about prize money, you know, about the glory and fame, the ticket to BlizzCon. But something I also wanted to say that is that in the second regionals, which is going to take place at Gamescom, there will be a new patch, the Gul'dan update, if you will. And there is a lot of game changes happening. So all the teams will probably have to adjust a little bit. So does that actually add a little bit of extra motivation for the teams to make it now out of their comfort zone rather than, you know, playing on wonky ground?
I think for sure. I mean, every step of the way. I mean, Medivh right now, we're on the Medivh patch, but there's not that familiarity just yet. And I think that's going to be another thing. We see these new heroes. There's going to be so much that's going to come out that changes the dynamic. There might be a roster swap or two that always seems to happen, but these teams that stay together, by the way, guys, the teams that stay together are the teams that are actually here. And there's a reason. So I wouldn't, whoever comes in second here, I think, you know, still has to look forward. The team that wins here obviously takes a lot of pressure off. So kind of, I think there's an interesting dynamic to winning this one and focusing as much as you can to win this one.
Which is also a reason why I wouldn't actually say that Mindsandy automatically, is a sure candidate to qualify, because, that uncertainty that brings comes with Gul'dan, right? Anyway, though, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, though, guys, the first team that we're going to send on the stage is going to be Team Dignitas. And boy, Bakery, Snitch, you name them, JPL, they have performed an insanely good way. And I can't wait to see what these guys are going to put down against Fnatic. I mean, they're not an easy foe to overcome, but Bakery, he said, they are looking comfortable. Alex the Prodigy is finally here. And now, one more time, everybody, give it up for Team Dignitas!
All right, Kendrick, you talked about it. There are several names on this team. We've seen Bakery. He has been around for a long time. Mene makes plays. JPL is the guy I've been watching all weekend long. He has been coming out and dominating. Look at that team right there. That is an all-star team filling every role. This is a great team to watch.
And they have a tall order ahead of them. They used to be Europe's best. They would love to reconquer that title here in this grand final best of 5. Yeah. Everyone wants to make it to BlizzCon, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next patch. What is going to happen at Gamescom?
Every single one of these players has tasted being an EU champion before, and they're looking to do it again as a full roster together for the first time in a finals. The first time they had this roster, they got knocked out in the groups. Now they're here to show that that was a fluke.
And gone are the rumors like, can they make Alex the Prodigy a part of their squadron or not? I mean, everybody should be convinced by now that Team Dignitas has what it takes to reclaim the title of the European champion here. And Bakery, the team captain, he's going to lead the charge and, lead his comrades into battle against Fnatic, who are looking very strong, but everything is possible for Team Dignitas here.
The cool thing about Bakery is that he's been making plays so long that it's almost like commonplace. It's like, all right, Bakery landed another bomb. All right, Bakery made another play. But then you've got guys like Mene who are standing there beside you. As you said, the incorporation of Alex. But I'm telling you, man, the roster swaps, the role transitions, the fact that they're able to run the double warrior comp that we saw so dominant in DreamHack Sweden. JPL helps complement that. I feel that they're finally within their own, and that guy really helps them round out their roster to perform as well as they do.
And I think JPL has been the player with the most European championships, be it on one team or another. He's one of the most accomplished players here. Snitch, one of the most frequent Zagara players here today. And he was quipping before. It's like, wow, I'm playing so many new heroes today. Zagara.
Was that him showing this is going to be a 3-0?
That's the claim. That was the claim.
Think so?
Either that or he's 3 years old.
Or 30?
I don't believe that.
And I mean, Snitch, who would have thought like a couple of months ago that he could become such a pillar in the construct of Team Dignitas? I mean, you said it earlier. He puts out incredible damage numbers on all the heroes he plays. And, earlier he used to be a little bit of a reckless player, but now he's such an experienced veteran Tetcher. And I think you have been following this team a very long time. Do you really see the difference there as well?
I definitely see the difference. The entire team has come together. You can shout out individual players all you like,
right,
but the fact is, Team Dignitas are so successful because every player on it is a star, and every player knows how to work as part of a unit.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Alex the Prodigy, he's finally there. He feels comfortable. I think for the first time, you can actually see his synergy with the team. No longer does he go and do his own thing. I mean, everybody is working like a piece in a solid machine, J-How.
It's just cool because, their roster was really good before. There's a reason they made it to the Global Championship in summer. But then they made the change, and all of a sudden they didn't look as good. But again, I feel like they're finally rounding into form. I would say that their roster now looks better than it did then. And that's a big statement because they're a world championship caliber team.
Yeah, definitely. But now, on the opponent's side, we see none other than the Swedish powerhouse that is Fnatic. It took them a while to sort of incorporate Whoopi, but boy, is he a carry, and he has become one of the star players. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, give it up for Fnatic!
All All right, Kendrick, as much as we talked about Dignitas, Fnatic has almost made it look easy, except for when they went against Dignitas. But let's talk about their players in particular. We saw the other team, Team Dignitas. They're an all-star team. Well, guess what, guys? This is an all-star team as well. We talk about Breeze, the stalwart in the front on the Warrior. Schwimpy having a good time up there. This team is relaxed. They're cohesive. They are all together. I love seeing these guys together outside of the venue. They perform so well on stage and off. We saw Smexy. He's coming into his own. Everything about this team, Grubby, is looking phenomenal for an explosive finals here.
Yes, absolutely. Explosive it is. It's the right word. And Smexy, I feel like he's in the peak form of his life. Whether it's Rhaegar or Karazim, he's on point. He comes out of nowhere and saves his allies. And
there it is.
And then there's that.
Finally back.
It's go time for the finals.
That
is go time for this.
The reigning Palm King, if you will. I mean, he's looking ever so solid. In fact, like Grubby mentioned, he's looking better than ever before. And
I'm not into that.
He's seen better. Unbelievable. I mean, Whoopi, I think he did the same thing at Leicester when this whole staring contest craziness started. But man, we cannot really be mad at him at all. And Quacknix, wow, that Lunara that he pulled out earlier was insane. Tetcher, what can we expect from Quacknix in particular here?
Basically, if you let him have any of his top... Well, I was about to say top 3, but he has like a top 9. Let him on any hero he owns, and he is going to own. And it's as simple as that. He's just so powerful on the ranged assassins.
And Breeze doesn't have a third hero pick. Unfortunately.
But my favorite part about Breeze being the youngest guy here, he seems like the guy with the most confidence on their team. I think that's really cool. But Schwimpy there, of course, you can't discount him. It's almost like the guy that doesn't get said enough, even though I think he's got the coolest name on the team. But all together, them as a cohesive unit, I mean, they just create what is Fnatic and what is great about them.
And Fnatic, I mean, as you guys pointed out earlier, they are thirsty to get that title. I mean, they really want to get another title under their belt. It has been too long since, you know, My Insanity and Dignitas, they were always the top teams mentioned. And I know how frustrated and disappointed Fnatic were when they didn't make it to the Summer Championship. But for now, we're going to move over to see what the first battleground in this best of 5 is going to be, because everything's on the line. Not only the prize money, but of course, the title as the European Championship here at DreamHack Valencia. And it's going to be cursed at Hollow, guys. More boss action, more rotations on this beautiful map.
Yeah, Battlefield of Eternity getting vetoed out, and I missed the other one. But anyway, yeah, Cursed Hollow, first one coming out there. And it is one of the more interesting maps. It's very large distance between the lanes. There's a lot of different points of contention, and generally the most tactically strong team will take that one.
You know, you talk about tactical. Last night when they played, this was game number 1. Dignitas put on a show, man. They rotated, they out-rotated them, they picked them apart, and they dominated game number 1. Of course, things changed in game 2 and game 3 where Fnatic came back, but game number 1, you got to feel confident with Dignitas in this. But did Fnatic learn their lessons? Tetcher, they've looked good today on this map in particular. I mean, are we going to see anything different out of Fnatic in game number 1?
I think both of these teams have just been running to their maximum throughout all of this. They just now have to do it against each other again. When we saw them play against each other, both looked like they were giving it their all, but the odd mistake here and there. Today, very few mistakes. They've stepped it up yet another notch somehow. I don't know how they've done it. They found more room to improve and still managed to do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting time to be watching Heroes of the Storm, because we're now going to get into that very first draft between Fnatic and Team Dignitas. And immediately we see that Kalthus, the Blondie, being taken ever so solid. The amount of flexibility that this Heroes offers to your playstyle is unmatched. You pick him in the comp and he's going to do some work no matter what.
This is something that we see all the time. You pick up Kalthus, we've got a threat for that, and it's going to be Greymane. Of course, you pick up Murden, who's going to be dominating that front line, and on the same side you give up ETC, and you give up ETC and Kalthus. That's a really powerful combination. Obviously this is where the big guns come out in the early part of the draft. It looks like they're thinking about ETC. I think it's a great choice, but they might be buying a little bit of time for their next pick, but an early start, and this is just a, I mean, you want to talk about meta, you want to talk about big heavyweights that are going at it, this is how you start a draft.
Now Jay, how yesterday when they faced on Cursed Hollow, it was the exact same bans except coming from the other team. Either way, what they seem to agree on is that Falstad and Illidan have to be removed immediately. It was Murden, Kalthus, Greymane coming out soon. And then there was Anubarak and Li Ming fairly soon from Fnatic, which is definitely a little bit less common in the first rotation, and now they're thinking it over, and they're definitely going into a more solid direction, taking heroes like ETC and Karazim, which allows them to hide a lot of their follow-up picks since they already have their warrior and their support.
This is 5 of the 10 picks. If you count 10 a whole, this is 5 of the 10 already. None of the other 5 have been banned out just yet.
These are all heroes, though, that we have seen Fnatic excel on. We have Kael'thas, played by Shwimpy, Breeze on ETC, and Smexy. We cannot have talked about him enough on that Karazim over the last couple games. And there's that Anubarak gone again. We're seeing some very familiar stuff here, Grubby.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Anubarak picked yesterday, not ETC.
Yeah, exactly. Anubarak was picked, now he gets removed. And there was also bans yesterday on Abathur by Dignitas and Tyrande by Fnatic.
I just wonder, are we going to see the double warrior composition? The same thing that they went yesterday was Arthas. The other thing that they really like to run on this map, Zagara. We talked about Snitch earlier on Zagara. We've been seeing this double warrior comp. Is that something that we're going to be looking at here? I almost feel like this is shaping up to be very familiar from what we saw last night.
Yeah, Abathur, once again, like clockwork, gets removed. The following prioritization was Rehgar, Arthas, Tassadar. These heroes were coming out. Let's see if we see some of that, or if there's going to be a change in the equation.
Yep, Dignitas hovering over it for now. This is the map that they won. So the question is, do they still feel confident in it? It worked very well for them. And it's pretty much up to Fnatic if Dignitas feel good about it to make the change.
And some very interesting heroes you pointed out earlier, guys. One of them being the Tyrande. She was picked at some points throughout this tournament. Is she grand finals worthy, guys?
Well, no. She is weak like an assassin against attacks and doesn't offer as much damage. We see once again that double warrior indeed that was alluded to, Arthas and Rehgar.
Fnatic trying to steal away because everything for Dignitas looks exactly the same, and if they get Zagara at the end, you got to think this is exactly what they wanted, but Fnatic knows that Snitch likes to play that Zagara. They're debating, do we take it away or do we give it to him? It looks like they're hovering over Tyrael now. They've gone off of Zagara. I'm curious, are they going to give Dignitas the exact same draft that they gave them last night?
Dignitas has had like 3 to 4 drafts with only one hero difference so far. Murden, Arthas, Rehgar. Sometimes it's Grey main, sometimes it's Kael'thas. Last one, sometimes it's Zagara, it could be Lunara, but fatefully yesterday they took an Illidan. I don't know if Dignitas will be taking a risk like that once again on their 5th.
And you heard Snitch earlier. I mean, they're not going to pick something crazy or extraordinary as long as they don't feel pressured in the draft. And as you mentioned, Grubby, they are running very similar team comps, Team Dignitas that is. Yeah. So I think there's no reason to worry for them right now.
Well, we just had Snitch up here. He said, I'm not as big a fan of Sylvanas because you have to be winning in order for them to get value out of it, or at least that's their opinion. But Zagara is their normal go-to. Tetra, I mean, this is a great play by Fnatic. What does that leave Dignitas with?
Well, they definitely need some kind of specialist or some extra range damage, and it's the range damage they go for, bringing out the Li Ming this time. So they want to get some burst. They're against the Tyrael, but Zagara is a little bit vulnerable to some of that burst damage if she's not protected, or she may have to just give up Mutalist to take the spell shield to prevent herself from being burst.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw the Anubarak being banned, you know, considered to be one of the strongest counters to Li Ming, but Tetra has a point. The minions that Zagara can summon can intercept those arcane missiles or arcane orbs.
Li Ming, no matter what, is a great choice, especially with the removal of Anubarak. She can cancel the tribute acquisition for a very long time with magic missiles, with arcane orb. And yeah, she's just a really solid damage dealer. It makes total sense. Super carbon copy drafts here. And so it will come down to skill, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be very interesting to see like how comfortable Dignitas feels in this very first game, because let's not be dishonest. I mean, Fnatic.
But the thing about
take a look at the game that went 37 minutes long, and how Quacknix in the end proved to be such a crucial component at overcoming Dignitas.
Well, the thing is, Dignitas last night, the minute this map started, they instantly put pressure on Fnatic. They rotated and they rotated and they got picks and they got picks. I don't know if we're going to see Fnatic maybe play a little bit safer early on, maybe wait and try and play this, because it almost seems like they lost it very early on in the game. I don't think we're going to see a repeat. I think we're going to see a much more highly contested battleground.
But Dick has been doing that all day today, and they once again have the better stun comp. They once again have the bigger kill pressure. You're going up against a hero like Tyrael. Tyrael's power points are level 10, 13, and 16. I don't mean he's doing a presentation. I mean, that's where his peaks are coming out. Level 10. And before that, he's mediocre at best. We've got huge kill power here from Dignitas. They've been playing Cursed Hollow out of their mind. And if they can get like 1 to 3 pickoffs in the early game, that could just be game. Because they will get a level 7 boss, and they will go straight for the keep with Syndragoza.
All right, Grubby, that was a very nice explanation. So why don't you go ahead and provide us with your prediction for this very first game?
Need I say it? I think Dignitas has everything they want to have here. I think they'll get some early kills, and they will take the game.
Officially locked down and noted. Tetcher.
I also agree, Dignitas going to be taking the game here. Good job, Kalaris is nonetheless, because he'd be forced to decide once again between Tyrael and Dignitas, but Dignitas just looking so strong at the moment.
J-Ho. It's a hard one, I know.
I don't even know what to say. I'm going to go on the opposite side of you guys. I'm picking Fnatic. They've looked so good all day. I'm basing it on what they've shown me today.
I'm going to go with J-How and Fnatic here because I think their individual class is currently matched to none. I mean, they look so convincing both on paper and in game. And without further ado, guys, I know there's a lot of hype for the games, a lot of hype for, you know, the grand finals, but we also should share some hype for our casters. And those are going to be Kalaris and Kaldor.
It's the Fall Europe Regional Final, and we have Dignitas going up against Fnatic. And I guess the only thing that we really want out of this series is 5 maps.
Yes, that would be very good. It's funny, whenever we cast together, we always seem to fall on one side each. So that's how it's going to go. As we get into game number 1 here of the grand finals for DreamHack Valencia. To the left-hand side, we have JPL on Muradin, Mene on Li Ming, Snitch on Greymane, Bakery will play Rhaegar, Alex, the Pro G on Arthas. They are Team Dignitas.
And to the right side of the map in red, it is of course Fnatic with the Breeze on ETC once again. Wooby with the Tyrael, Quacknix jumping on Kel'Thas here, Schwimpy on Zagara, and Smexy is playing the Charism for the team here. Prepare yourself for quite a bit of action and a lot of banter because this series is promising to be absolutely fantastic, especially after the series that we have seen between these two teams in the group stage.
Absolutely everything I want, of course. Not only do you have Team Dignitas in the series, but also you've got Wooby, one of my favorite players of all time, playing my Tyrael. I'm a happy man already, regardless of what happens, Kaldor.
Yeah, and well, of course, we have to say again that this map was already played between the two of them. It was the map that Fnatic actually lost. And especially Quacknix after the game said immediately, I played so bad. He himself admitted that he was caught way too often and was one of the main reasons his team fell behind. This time he's going to try and play it different. And already the pressure at the bot lane from Fnatic, using Zagara to force Snitch back and drop the tower ammunition.
And of course, Snitch not as comfortable, I would say, on Greymane as he is on Zagara. His Zagara is pretty much his bay. That's exactly where he would like to go to. Shrimpy stealing that away for this game. Rotation coming round, though, down towards the bottom. See if they can get something done.
Yeah, the bot lane right now, we are still seeing JPL in position, and let's keep in mind that with Muradin and also Arthas, he has a lot of potential of locking targets down. And these rotations are going to be very, very scary. But they've already been found out. Schwimpy is there, so is Breeze hiding in the bush there. And that can turn around against Dignitas.
They'll be all right moving away. Now, block on Arthas is something that we haven't really seen at all this tournament, I don't believe. So a little bit of a change up there, respecting the idea of the melee coming out. And Tyrael is one of those things that actually puts on a little bit of melee pressure, and he'll probably be going into those positions anyway.
Now, keep in mind that both of these teams come off a 3-0 victory in the semi-final. Fnatic against Mind Sanity and Dignitas against Team Liquid. The winner of this series will advance to play at BlizzCon then. Of course, winning the regional final here. And BlizzCon is really what all of the teams in the in the entire world actually are currently aiming for. It's the final where you want to participate.
Such a big deal. Of course, we've had our World Championships in the spring, in the summer, but here in the fall, going to BlizzCon, where there is a even bigger prize pool than those other two. So a massive deal for one of these teams.
The prestige alone is absolutely incredible. And now we have the level 4 talents here in the game. Slowly and steadily, we're also reaching the time of the first tribute. The teams have just taken their siege giant camps. Let's see which team gets an advantage through the spawning position of the tribute. Is it going to be spawning at the top lane, or will it be spawning down to the bottom of the map?
Of course, they've got to pray to the gods here that it's going to favor them. As it's about to spawn, Nick comes up towards the top here. So advantage for Fnatic.
Yeah, very solid Fnatic advantage here, especially since Zagara's at the bot lane. The rotation of Dignitas is happening immediately. They're trying to deep push those Siege Giants, but the Tribute is spawning top. You can already see that Smexy is in position. The rest of the team is zoning, and Alex, of course, stands no chance to interrupt. He's just waiting, but they're also going to lose some tower damage up here at the top.
Yeah, absolutely no contestation there by Dignitas. They realize that their priorities are in, different locations, which one Tribute doesn't matter too much here while all of this is going on. But as you say, taking down these towers is a bit of a big deal, as later on, of course, especially if they're able to get a well, if another Tribute pops up near that location up there, then that could be really bad for Dignitas.
And now as we're seeing actually both teams pushing their lanes a little bit, let's talk a little quickly for everybody who's newer to Heroes of the Storm what the Tribute position actually indicates here. Both of those teams are taking their Siege Giant camps around 2 minutes. That's when the Siege Giant camps and also the Night camps spawn on the map. Bosses spawn a minute later, 3 minutes in. And since the Tribute either spawns at the top or at the bot lane, one of the teams will get a counter push, so to say, at the opposite side of the map, which is very strong if you commit to the objective. Therefore, in this case, Dignitas decided against it, did not go for the Tribute, de-pushed the bot lane camp, where the Siege Giant camp would have gotten way too much value. Therefore, they find themselves slightly behind when it comes to the objective of the map.
And the second camp that you end up taking usually is this Night camp to try and kind of counteract the potential of this Tribute spawning. Of course, it's not far away from any Tribute because it is through the middle of the path, but it allows you to apply a little bit of pressure, kind of divide your opponent's attention. So Fnatic's going to get the best of that situation here, having that available to them, whilst Dignitas didn't look to time it out.
Yeah, and right now we are already seeing Bakery trying to channel through. Is the interrupt there? That's the question. It doesn't look like it. Smexy was thinking about dashing in, decides against it though, and therefore the Tribute count 1-1. Level 7 talents also in now, and that is very interesting since we are seeing at Greymane that apparently Snitch has a lot more confidence in his Greymane play than you do.
I know, I saw it and I was already worried. But at the same time, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He'll try and make this work on out. So basically, Wizened Duelist will see the position where if Greymane is able to get successive kills and not die off, he will gain himself a little bit more power during all of this, scaling up to a total of 30%. If he can get all the way to the top, it's very rare we see full stacks.
Yeah, I mean, if you get full stacks on Greymane with this talent, then you are an absolute monster. Greymane is already a beast in itself, and he can really take down the backline quite easily. But if you have all that extra damage, nobody is safe on the map.
On towards Tyrael, and he's going to get blown up even before he had a chance to cast Eldrarune's Might, and that will be first blood going over to Team Dignitas.
Yeah, talking about having no chance of escaping, that's exactly what happened to Whoopi up here to the top. Tyrael, of course, not standing a single chance as this first Stumble hits, his DCs get chained, and he's down. That's also the very unfortunate timing since we have Tribute number 3 now appearing on the map, but Fnatic is very intent on delaying long enough for Tyrael to join the fight again.
Trying to spread themselves a little bit more. Dignitas here, trying to get Many in a bit more of a better opportunity position so that he can continue to put out damage, but still be safe a little bit further towards his bases rather than over towards the middle for this battleground.
Jay is still there. We saw Whoopi rotate up to the top lane, actually, not even bothering with the Tribute interrupt. The level 10 was the biggest problem here. They realized that just in a few seconds, level 10, the heroic abilities would hit for Dignitas, and they decided that they don't want to risk anything here. It's only the second Tribute for Dignitas. There's no real need to overcommit to try and take it. They need to wait for the level 10 first.
Yeah, of course. And of course, with that being said, level 10s bring us the Wave of Force here from Li Ming, which is designed mostly in part here to try and deal with ETC's mosh pit. But with Tyrael behind it, that can sometimes prove a little bit annoying.
Yeah, it can prove very annoying, and Tyrael on this map is of course fantastic. I mean, well, here's actually the end of Zagara. Once again, Dignitas with a kill, and at the perfect time once more, since we're now seeing another Tribute spawning in 5 seconds. They're actually doing really well here. They took the towers down up at the top lane. They have a solid level lead right now. This is looking very solid for them.
They started boss as well here, which Fnatic might want to try and sniff out. They're going to move away from it, knowing that, ETC as well as Smexy and the rest of the team is coming down here. But Smexy was taking quite a bit of damage there to Alex, obviously with that level 4 talent, giving his Frozen Tempest a little bit more damage here. And now Zagara is very far away. Unless they can get the poke, that's going to be the curse.
That's the curse against Fnatic, and now things are starting to look a little bit more dire. At this point, of course, Fnatic is going to try and defend as much as they can while soaking experience. And Dignitas, it's up to them to either take a boss, push the lanes, or at least get an advantage by taking down structures.
Let me tell you, the previous Kings of Europe, after I talked to them last night, were not happy with their loss against Fnatic. They felt they should have had that 2-0. And they're starting this series off with a bang. But for sure, there is no way Fnatic is going to go down easy. They have shown great games throughout this tournament.
If you take down my Insanity 3-0, then you deserve to be in the grand final. And both these teams have shown exceptional play throughout the entire tournament. But it is Dignitas who's currently calling the shots on this first map of the best of 5 series.
A little bit difficult for Fnatic to fully counter everything that's going on at the moment here, just trying to get as much crucial damage as possible. Also, they don't want to stay too far long here because level 13 is slowly approaching for Dignitas. So they're going to get themselves a spot, probably level 13 very soon, once a few more minions come along.
The structural advantage of Dignitas is fantastic now. They have level 13 any second. They took down the fort at the bot lane. The one in the mid lane got destroyed too. Up to the top is the only remaining structure in the outer circle for Fnatic. And that extra talent that we're seeing, Glass Cannon already falling, all that extra damage, Draker with the Earth Shield is going to make his job a bit easier, trying to keep people alive. Talking about keeping people alive, Jay is in trouble. He's trying to jump out there. Arthas is currently trying to help him, but we have the mosh pit and immediately the Phoenix, but the cleanse is too strong and the boss is taken in the meter, but there's Tyrael trying to steal it away. He dies.
He got stunned before he could use even Sanctification, so if he'd have actually got the opportunity to actually activate that, he could have bought a little bit of time, but Fnatic now on the run here. That stun was so important on towards Tyrael, otherwise he could have had a field day there for a moment.
Unbelievable. First the kill. Oh my god, that was the perfect palm and Smexy, but it still does not help ETC. It's 4 kills against 0. The boss is marching through the bot lane, going straight for the keep now. And Dignitas, they are not taking any prisoners in this game, Kalaris.
The funny thing is, the saving grace that they have available is actually Sanctification isn't on cooldown now, so they can maybe defend a little bit easier in this situation. But still, so Dignitas isn't going to move on too far forward here. But, you know, losing all of this gives Dignitas still a great lead.
It's still too early for Dignitas to really go in too deep. I mean, this is a pre-10-minute boss, so therefore in scaling it's still rather weak. They can't really do too much with it yet. But just the advantage that we see in the experience is incredible. It's a 2-level lead for Dignitas as is. And Fnatic, again on Cursed Hollow, just... they seem a little bit helpless here.
Yeah, Dignitas is commanding the lead very, very easily here at the moment, and Fnatic not really having any kind of momentum on their side at all. Of course, they knew that that boss was being taken. They wanted to swing down there, but the responses that we saw out of Dignitas for the stuns, and now they're going to rotate around to their opponent's boss, and the tribute spawns here at the same time. They still have that talent advantage and the stat advantage now.
And of course, Fnatic has to somehow try and deal with it. First of all, they're now starting to take camps at the bot lane because they want to push these lanes out even further. They're also attempting to gain more experience, but they will have to give up that tribute at the top, I believe. Zagara runs straight into Alex. Smexy is there. JPL is jumping in, though. He wants the stun, but everybody for Fnatic is ready to assist. Breeze is going maybe a bit too deep. He's immediately attacked. Wooby is there, not dropping the Sanctification just yet, but at least helping Breeze to move back.
Dignitas had to be a little bit careful there. Breakery actually cleansed Muradin across the wall there, just in a small moment, thinking that he may get locked down a little bit further. So there wasn't too much opportunity for them to kind of push on further without somebody potentially being completely blown up and caught in CC.
And we have finally level 13 talents ready for Fnatic, but their big problem is that in just half a level, Dignitas will have level 16 talents, and they go through the top lane now too. This is not getting any easier for Fnatic. No. They even switched up the build on Kalthas, going into the Fission Bomb here for the increased radius, not going into Pyromaniac, which we usually see.
It's interesting to see that, actually. It means that if people get caught in a mosh pit and Kalthas is there to do the damage, the bomb will spread quite heavily across the entire area of a mosh pit. So that is very cool to see out of Kalthas here. And it also means that Dignitas, with a pretty heavy melee comp, has got to be very careful, even in fights without mosh pit, never mind it.
The problem I just see is that I don't believe Dignitas is going to allow them to really fight on even talents at this point. If you just look at the tribute taken, here's the second one. They can let that go. Fnatic, of course, boss is taken. That's a 3-level difference. That's an extra talent, Kalaris. This is not looking pretty. Dignitas, they want to fight.
And if they actually do fling themselves in there with Eldragoon's Might. Breeze is repositioning himself, but at the same time, they could easily just jump forward. Sanctification as well is being used there to try and deal with it. Alex is going to get the Ancestral Healing, but the Maw catches two of them.
And the boss is stolen. The boss is the mosh pit. The mosh pit in the back. Jay wants to go for the interrupt, and he tries, but he doesn't pull it through. Li Ming goes down. Dignitas miscalculated. The boss is stolen. Li Ming is dead. Breeze dies too, but so does Alex.
Yeah, it's pretty even at the moment. It's a couple of kills each at the moment with Smexy going quite low. Likewise, JPL is going to have to jump on out of there. Whoopi could not really chase. He doesn't have that much mana, even for Eldragoon's Might or anything like that. Not even Smite to speed them up. He's going to try there, but that's it, and that will secure the kill there on Muradin.
3 kills against 2 in favor of Fnatic, and they were fighting with the talent down the entire time. Boss going through the top, the rest of the team moving straight into the middle. They want to get a few more structures. They want to close that gap in experience. They need level 16 themselves.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity for them, and they took it in spades. Dignitas didn't really have to challenge that boss too much. They didn't have to do that. They were up in so much experience.
They had the confidence there that they could still fight. They knew that Tyrael does not have holy ground yet, and said, Sanctification, Mosh Pit, guys, as long as we played safe here and spread, we're fine, but it turned against them.
Yeah, Sanctification is still super strong. That was a good deny there on Smexy for the moment, just to delay a little bit with the blink as well as that wave of force. And
this is the problem for Fnatic. They still don't have 16. Finally, it's in there. Finally, they can fight. It's about time for them. And now we are also seeing Sun King's Fury. This is such an important talent at this point for Kel'Thas. With a Fission Bomb, Dignitas has to be incredibly careful about their positioning.
Right, yeah. Right where that ping just happened there is where Whoopi would ideally love to have Holy Ground. So sealing them in. He's actually going to throw it on towards Tribute, so it's not the ideal Holy Ground position to seal people into that location and deny a retreat. But still, that will be up very quickly because, of course, he's able to... It's not exactly the longest of cooldowns.
Massive wave, by the way, up at the top lane, starting to pressure the first keep. Here comes the Phoenix. Whoopi goes deep, he goes in, interrupts once more. It would be a curse against Fnatic, but Whoopi is now all of a sudden being chased. He's dropping the Sanctification on the ground as Breeze is attempting to help him here. Quacknix is moving over, but Tyrael is jumping out again. The palm even coming into play. Smexy trying to be super safe, but that's another cooldown that just got burned.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a curse on the side now, as Dignitas is going to be able to capitalize off that. That will deny the push up towards top, doing even a little bit extra damage now against this and soaking up even more of the ammo. And now they can try and push towards the bottom lane here.
This is a lot of discipline on the side of Fnatic, not committing after the palm was already used, saying, guys, we do not have our cooldowns for the heroics. We need to move back, accept the curse. Now they're trying to go for the kill, and this could actually happen. The Ancestor does not go through. Arthas is dead. They're going for kill number 2, but Whoopi is in trouble. He explodes. He's trying to get some value out of his trade, but not hitting anything here. The more though, Kalaris.
JPL under a lot of pressure as well. He's going to pop his avatar, trying to keep himself alive. Ancestral healing onto him as well. The Mosh Pit whiffs on towards Breeze there. Snitch is doing a lot of damage with Mane as well, trying to pressure back Breeze. They will push him all the way away, and it's just going to be 1-for-1 here, tank for tank.
Big blunder there by Breeze, not hitting anything. I mean, of course, it's zoned slightly, but that isn't really what you want. If you would have caught them there, they could have done so much work, especially with Kel'Thas. We talked about his level 13 talent, the Fission Bomb, the Sun King's Fury now. Yeah. There's so much potential here, but still, such an intense game. And to be honest with you, this curse didn't really do it.
Exactly, that's why I wanted to mention. The fact that it was 1-for-1, you'd think, oh, okay, even trade. But it was a curse on side of Dignitas, which means that because Fnatic took that fight and traded the 1-for-1, they also denied the value of that curse. Yeah. So it was in Fnatic's favor, that fight overall. Although this fight might not be. Nice power slide.
Yeah, that's not a fight. That's an execution right there.
Snitch.
Breeze. Whoopi, is he caught yet? No, he jumps out.
Everyone has an escape.
Yeah, and that was one of those moments when they really helped Breeze. That was a bit of it was a bit far out there, but they are able to save him. Of course, now Dignitas are looking for an opportunity to get the boss at the bot lane.
Free boss with the amount of damage and pressure they're able to put on against them. Jay will be able to deny for as long as possible so that they can actually pick that up. They're a little bit too far away. Whoopi's coming in, but it's all a little bit too late for him.
That was 2 seconds, 1 second maybe. If you would have been a bit faster with Eldragoon's Might, he can jump in there. That was clutch timing by Dignitas. It was very well done here. Nice deny and delay by Muradin.
Yeah, they're going to try and escort this a little bit, knowing that Whoopi is there for a moment, and now they will try and move forward as Mene just trying to join the fray as well. He's a little bit far behind. A little bit of a stun on towards Breeze from the heavy impact. Jay doesn't quite catch that Stormbolt though.
They have to be really careful. Holy ground once again being used. Breeze is there. They damage the boss. The boss goes for a keep. They want it right now. Their stun is there, and that's the problem. The dash away. Breeze also escaping. The stun circle on the ground is still hitting Kel'Thas, but they have the boss down to already only 10% HP. Really well done.
Yes, Fnatic did a fantastic job of dancing along the lane whilst denying the full-on engagement from Dignitas there. So big props to Fnatic's execution.
Talking about plays on Razor's Edge, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have to be so careful about that, because if one stun lines up there from a Muradin, then you're going to lose a Breeze. You're going to lose somebody.
Talking Muradin, he jumped in and he has the heavy impact. If Breeze does not use the exact moment to dash away, then they are done for.
Yeah. And that could even be game at that point. But for now, it is not to be the case. They're now going to guard their boss. Down towards the bottom, Tribute has spawned. Not the most impactful Tribute for both of the teams, because it's 0-1 at the moment.
But if you think about it for just 1 second, we had 2 curses against Fnatic already. 2 curses. They still have their keeps. They are still very close in experience. They actually go for boss at the top. Jay is there. He sees it down to the bottom of the map. We're seeing Greymane. He's not with them, but Fnatic decides to switch it up, and instead they go for the Night Camp.
The funny thing is that Fnatic has such a powerful combo in the Mosh Pit as well as Sanctification and Holy Ground. I think, personally, they could probably start that boss and 80% guarantee it for themselves, but it's like taking these risks. It's like that you never want that 20%. You don't want to bet it.
We kind of saw how that backfired for Dignitas a bit earlier. And I mean, if we are talking about this game and also the series yesterday, bosses are not really Dignitas' friend.
No, that's true. Sometimes it does go the wrong way, as although they shouldn't have even gone there in the first place, Caldo, I'll have you know.
Two most spiking.
No. But look at this, actually, with JPL, he could get blown up here.
Holy ground.
And will he actually get away? He actually dodged us aggressively? Oh my god.
Oh, that's the ancestor. He goes through. The Maw is there. They're trying to go for maybe the kill even. Phoenix is out. Breeze still has the mosh pit. Not using it just yet. Is about to move in. Alex is in trouble. Alex is low. Alex is very low. Alex is about to die, but he gets healed. Unbelievable. It's Tyrael who falls. He wants Alex, but he does not get the kill on Arthas. And Fnatic is in full retreat as Dignitas is about to hit level 20.
During all of that focus against Arthas, Li Ming had full reign to do as much damage as possible. She was throwing an orb over and over and over. Triumvirate. And oh my god, did they melt under the pressure of it.
I really don't like the way that Fnatic is currently not able to combo their Sanctification with the Mosh Pit. Sanctification is the poor man's divine shield, so to say. If you don't have that Uther in there, Sanctification is the next best thing. And in that corridor, I really believe they could have synced it up.
And now we have Talrash's Elements at level 20 for Li Ming, which means no Repulsion. Repulsion's a fantastic talent to take, but Talrash's Elements means that Mene, left uncontested, will just smash. Big chunks of damage, up to 20% on those rotations.
Mid lane, as we're seeing here, has also taken a lot of damage. I mean, in this case, it's only a Ford that is getting pressured by Fnatic's wave that they took earlier. Dignitas is already aiming for keep at the top lane this time. Kel'Thas will be back for the defense, but Fnatic for the entire game was on the back foot.
Yeah, and they continue to be at the moment here with this boss now pushing. Also, Legion of Northrend being picked up at their level 20 as well now for Arthur. So he is super tanky. Him and Muradin as the front line, it's good luck killing him.
And right now, this is going to be interesting because Master of Flames has now been chosen on 20, and we have those Fission Bombs on 13. Keep it in mind. A double bolt on the Storm of Zagara for ETC. Will Breeze land the Mosh Pit to win them the game? At this point, they're very likely to lose their first keep, but they're not about to lose the game just yet. So Fnatic is still in this, but Dignitas is dominating on map 1.
Breeze still sticking around. Sorry, Mene was still sticking around on the edge, looking for combos, couldn't quite find anything. Here's the tribute. If Dignitas is able to pick up this curse, then oh boy, is Fnatic in for a lot of trouble. And that is why they are so affluently moving down here as quickly as possible, setting up in this bush.
Yeah, there comes the Storm Ball. Jay checking the bush, making sure that there's no trap. Breeze is there though, and Whoopi comes in. Cooldowns already, except for Kel'Thas. This Phoenix will be up in another couple of seconds. And it seems like Dignitas is willing to let this one go. They could actually. They're still posturing around, but they could let it go.
They're looking for the ideal situation. And if they have to let it go, so be it. Just denying it there for a moment with that Howling Blast, Breeze taking a lot of damage, and that is the opportunity they were looking for. They want these big chunks of damage to then be able to maybe jump forward here with JPL.
Nice cleanse used on Kel'Thas. Whoopi is going for the sanctification. Where's that mosh pit? There we have it. Mosh pit is going in, but it does not actually hit anything, and Breeze doesn't even cancel it. What was that? The Breeze not hitting anything at all, and all of a sudden JPL low, but Smexy palms himself. He's about to fall. They're all rushing away. This is going to be a curse unless Whoopi somehow claims the tribute, and there's no way he does that with Li Ming still being around.
They didn't pop the palm twice. Thankfully, Peaceful Riposte is the talent choice for level 20 for Smexy, so it's still off cooldown now, but the commitment there from Dignitas and Patience to not pop those twice was very good, and Breeze unfortunately whiffed that one.
He didn't hit anyone, right?
No. There was
For a moment, I was like, this can't be, because he didn't even cancel the mosh pit. He was just like sitting there and nothing happened. It was also not zoning out anybody. So at this point, there's the curse. This is a massive problem, and if this boss is taken...
they can't let them get it. They cannot let them get it.
No way, this would be lights out.
Jay coming in from the back there, going on towards Zagari, rewinds and goes for the stun, as well as Stormbolt, then into stun from the heavy impact. As he's going to go on towards it, there's the palm already procced there, but Breeze is still very low. This is still a 4v5. Kel'Thas isn't even in this fight at the moment, and ETC is going to end up going down to start it off.
Dignitas is now going in for the kill. They want Whoopi next. Whoopi trying to escape. They were anticipating it. It's the double kill. The tanks are down. Jay jumps in again. Great gravity laps, but is it going to be enough? They take down Li Ming. That's at least the start, but they need more than that. JPL was boxed in thanks to the Maw, but they cannot drop him.
Li Ming was a brilliant pick-off, but now if they actually healed up, they've got a 30 or 40 second window where they could potentially push for their this boss, and it's very difficult for them to deal with sanctification down and holy ground not here, etc.
Look at those lanes. All of the keeps are taking damage. Kel'Thas is in the middle. He's trying to de-push. The bot lane is attacked too. They're going to lose everything here.
Yeah, they are going to lose everything, and then this boss is going to be the next focus now for Dignitas. They look at that as their win condition. You can see Fnatic lurking on the edges, but they don't have the tools to be able to deny it, and Smexy needs to get out of bow. He doesn't get the dash over towards Zagara. He goes down.
He doesn't even hit the palm. He could have palmed himself there. The cooldown was ready, but he got stunned in the last moment. It was the perfect timing. Dignitas with 12 kills to 5 on map number 1. Cursed Hollow, the map was already lost by Fnatic when they first met in the group stage, and right now it looks like there's no exception here in the final. Kel'Thas is dead, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the beginning of the end. There's the kill against Zagara, and this boss is gonna go straight for core.
And we got to full stacks of Wizened Duelist here for Snitch. So, geez, he has been a total monster this game for sure, and they are gonna march on here for game number 1. They were angry after losing that series to Fnatic, and in this game, yes, it's basically their map anyway. They are so strong on this map, and even that little combo is not going to be enough.
That's the combo that they had. They had the opportunity to execute the combo 2-3 times, and it never worked once, and that is one of the main reasons why they are currently losing this first game. They had a huge fight in a very controlled and small area at the top lane around the boss, where they missed the combo. Breeze 2 times with a mosh pit that didn't hit anybody, and this is going to be the end, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 1-0 lead for Dignitas, taking Fnatic down on Cursed Hollow.
A fantastic start for them here, and 71,000 damage on heroes by the end there for Greymane. So yeah, once those stacks get going, he propels himself to strong heights. Very, very tough to deal with.
It was a very weak frontline game, actually, from Fnatic this time. They played amazing against my Insanity, but now there were quite a few mistakes where they could have turned it around. I like the discipline of the team that in a lot of situations they decided to take a curse, to let a boss go just so they could fight later on eye level. But every time they had the team fights, they could decide the game in their favor or could just like turn it around. They made those mistakes and they never even had a chance. Dignitas was way too strong here.
That was difficult for them, so they take the 1-0 lead in this series so far. Let's head over to the panel to see what they think in this grand final. Currently 1-0 to Team Dignitas.